Hello, beautiful people. This is Gypsy Spirit here with you, ready to do your weekly tarot reading. And we're working on the week of May 26th through May 1st. And I hope you're all having a very safe, I have to fix my camera here. Okay, there we go. I hope you're all having a very safe Memorial holiday. It's a little warm outside, not a little warm, but a lot warm, like when we're at 102 degrees. My body says, no, you're not going outside. So I've actually been binging on a HBO, well, it's on Amazon, but it was, I guess, an HBO show at one time called Enlightened with Laura Dern and Luke Wilson and Diane Ladd, and I binged on it the whole weekend. So anyway, what a great thing to do, right? When you're when it's too hot to go outside. But hey, listen, we've been in the waning moon period, and I've been talking a lot about that. My newsletter has been about that. The newsletter that's coming out today is also about the waning moon because we're in the last week of it. And it looks like so many of you are really getting it. You're letting go. You're getting yourself ready for this new moon. And so exciting things I see happening for so many of you, me included. I have lots of great things starting to happen in my life. And a lot of it is because I had to let go. My friend Mary DeLucci says, let it go, let it go. So that's what I've been doing. I've been letting it go. So anyway, let's get started. Your first card is the Five of Pentacles, using the Alice in Wonderland deck. For those of you that have come to have your personal tarot readings in my home on Mondays during my tea and tarot, everybody just loves the tarot cards. And so just so you know, it's the Alice in Wonderland deck. Five of Pentacles, I'll show it to you again. So what does it look like that's going on here? There's lots of opportunities that you've been missing. So the first card that I'm looking at is like what's going on, like maybe last week or in the past couple of weeks, and it's like for some of you there might be some financial worries. I know for myself there's been some financial worries. And it was like this morning I woke up and I even had a friend invite me to dinner, and I was like, no, I'm on a money restriction right now. And then later, you know, when taking my dog for a walk, it was like, no, you're not on a money restriction. You know, where's your trust with the universe? What's wrong with you? And so I had to change that thinking around and change that fear around to a positive outlook. And so it's even happened to me too, that you know, I've seen opportunities, or maybe there's opportunities that have been given to me or in the past, or that I saw this past week, and I was so focused, we're so focused on what we don't have that we miss the opportunities of what we can have. So that's been going on like for the past week or so. And I know last week it was kind of like that too for many of you, me included. You know, I definitely relate to some of these tarot readings that I do. And you know, like this is a general reading. So what resonates with you, great. What doesn't resonate with you, then just, you know, let it go. Let it go. So, anyway, so that's what's been happening. But again, we've been in the waning moon period. So this is a period where it's like all those fears and worries and things that are not serving you, or traumas from your past that you're having to let go of, so that you can have that new energy to move. Like for the new moon, you can start manifesting new things in your life. There are things that you are manifesting in your life right now, but until you let go of all that other stuff, those manifestations will not become a reality for you. And so some of the things are really hard to let go of. I know, you know, I am no different, you know, even though I'm all spiritual and everything, and, you know, like sometimes live up in the clouds, I'm no different from anybody else. I mean, there's things that have happened in my world that have been really, really difficult to let go of. And I think for many of us, it's because we don't want to let go. We want to hang on to that pain because for some of us, it actually helps us. Well, it in a way, it keeps us kind of connected to something that we didn't want to lose. You know, I'll share something very personal, and it is really personal. So, you know, long ago, I lived in Napa, California, and I didn't live there very long. Maybe 5-6 months. I was 16 years old or 15, and I went to a really cool school called Vintage High School. What a great name, right? And it was a really cool school, and I got very involved in theater, and I got some lead parts in some plays. And I remember, you know, I was the new kid on the block, and at that time, Napa was a really tiny little place like Charleston used to be until everybody decided they needed to move to Charleston. And I'm sure it's the same way in Napa because it's so beautiful just like Charleston. We did this play, and this guy, everybody, after the play, there was a cast and crew party. And everybody said that they were going to Brian Cox's house because there was going to be a cast and crew party at his house. I had no idea who Brian Cox was. I never saw him at any of the plays, you know, this one particular play that we had been working on. And I was very involved with that play and never met anybody by the name of Brian Cox. But with me being a newcomer, of course, I didn't know who he was. But, you know, it was said that his parents were out of town and we were going to have our party there. So I went. And for those of you that know me and know me really well, know that Robert Plant is my imaginary rock star husband. I just, ever since I was 13, have always loved Robert Plant. And so anyway, I'm at this party. Still haven't met Brian Cox. Don't know who he is. For all I know, I could have been in the Devil's House, you know, and wouldn't have known it. Maybe I was. After I tell you this story. So I remember talking to some people friends of mine that I had just met from being in this play, and this guy walked up to me and he handed me a drink, and I was paying more attention to my friends than I was to him, so I just kind of took the drink, and then when I finished talking to my friends, he introduced himself as Brian Cox. And I'm like, oh, so you're, and when I got a really good look at him, I was like, oh my God, this guy looks like Robert Plant. This is Brian Cox? Really? And long story short, I ended up having a little fling with him after, you know, from that party. And he kind of left his guest, and we went off and, you know, did other things. And then we kind of saw each other, but he was very involved with another young lady that he really loved, and I guess broke her heart many times. And I never got over Brian Cox. And I mean, here it is, like I was 16, I'm 57 now, and he's always been in my heart, always. And I knew he got married to that young lady, and they had twin children, and so never heard from him anymore. And I think I had talked to him one time when I was like 25 or 26, and just our paths didn't cross anymore. And so all of you that know me also know that I was in a 2.5 year very committed relationship with, at least I thought it was a very committed relationship with a gentleman. His name was Brian too, here in Charleston. And it lasted for 2.5 years. We lived together. And he too, just like Brian Cox, broke my heart into a million pieces. And for some reason, and I don't know why, I was working at the mattress store that I work at, and this was like a couple of weeks ago, and a couple came in, and the lady had like Napa Valley hat on her head, and I said, "Oh, I used to live there," and we started talking, and I very briefly told him the story of Brian Cox, and that night I got on Facebook and was looking around to see if I could find Brian Cox, and guess what? I found him. Guess what? He doesn't look like Robert Plant anymore. But he did have a picture of himself from that time when I knew him on his Facebook page. And I remember I picked up my son from work and I told him about it. And he's like, "Really, Mom? He looked like Robert Plant?" "Yeah, right." And I said, "Yeah." And so my son started looking up his Facebook page as well. And he scrolled down to that picture. He said, "Oh, yeah, you're right. He did look like Robert Plant." I said, "Yeah, he don't look like him now." And so, not that he looks bad. He's actually very handsome. He just doesn't look like Robert Plant. Anyway, I looked at his Facebook page and I was like, "Oh, thank you, God. Thank you, God. I didn't get involved with this person any more than I did." Not that he's a bad guy. I mean, he's, based on what I've seen from Facebook, he's a really great guy. But we are on different planets. And what I saw from his Facebook page was there's a lot of similarities between him and the Brian here in Charleston that I had broken up or had a breakup with. And it's taken a really long time for me to let that relationship go. I had to move out to the country to heal from it. But after almost 4 years, it's finally taken the healing. And I think I had to go back there, you know, and looking up my boyfriend from very long ago and see the patterns. It was like the universe showing me the patterns of the type of men that I've always been attracted to. And it was like, okay, the change has to come. I have to let go of this kind of attraction towards these kind of men. Not that they're bad men, they're just not for me. And so that's part of the waning moon. That's part of the full moon, is when we're trying to let go and we're trying to find ourselves into manifest new things in our lives, but there's something still that we have to let go of. And it doesn't happen overnight. Sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes it may take years. So every one of us has our own story, and we all have that thing that we have to let go of. And so for me, this waning moon, that was what it was. So that's a little personal story that I shared with you. And if you're Brian Cox and you're listening, I no hard feelings or anything. I still have a special place for you in my heart, but I did let it go. But the next cards are the moon card in reverse. So for many of you, the moon card being in reverse, it's like you've been fighting letting go of something, and you've been fighting it and fighting it, very much like me, in letting go of something that I needed to let go of. And for those of you, you know who you are, and you know what it was that you had to let go of, and you've been fighting it, and it's been painful, and you have finally reached the point where you've let it go. So that's a great thing. That's a really great thing, because now when we're coming into the new moon, you're going to be ready. You're ready. You're getting yourself prepared and ready for what is next in your life. And so the next card is the Devil card in reverse. And that's what the Devil card is all about. It's about hanging on to addictions, hanging on to past behaviors, thoughts, energies, that are not serving us, but we tend to hang on to it for some reason or another. And now, towards the end of the week, I guarantee you that many of you will have let go of whatever it was that you needed to let go, and you're going to be so ready for the new moon. And unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be in town during the new moon, but if I were, we would be having a big celebration here in my home. So, you know, this is all beautiful for you. You're letting go of what it was that you needed to let go of, and all those opportunities that you thought, I mean, that the feelings of like you don't have enough of something or whatever, as you're letting go of all this other stuff, all those opportunities are going to be shown to you, and you're going to be able to move forward with it because you have that energy to do that. So I hope this helps. Just so you know, I'm doing, if you live here in Charleston, South Carolina, I am doing free tarot readings. It's Tarot and Tea every Monday from 3 to 7. And of course, love offerings are greatly appreciated. But you can read more about it on my website. But it's really a great thing. And I've been doing it for several weeks. And it's getting to where I'm pretty booked. So if you want to do this, you definitely need to get in contact with me immediately because I stay booked up with this. And on Fridays, we're actually going to be doing, what are we doing? We're doing past life readings. And so I'll be talking more about that in another video. But in the meantime, thank you so much for listening, and hope I didn't bore you too much with my own story. But thank you, and you guys have a great week, and many blessings to you, and strength, good for you, good strength to you, and encourage you to continue to let go of what you don't need to have. Thank you so much, and you have a great week, okay? Bye-bye.